And also, Seabass has a nominee that he brings to the table because he just has a nose for strange people, as we have heard a number of times on the show here throughout the years.
I've seen him.
Yeah. And let's start with Seabass this time around. What do you got?
I've got something called Vore.
Vore.
That is the sexual fetish where you imagine that you are being eaten alive.
Oh.
Or you are eating someone else alive.
Vore.
Oh, Army Hammer, right?
It's sort of.
Allegedly.
It's very much related to the cannibalism fetish or whatever. But sometimes it's just you don't have to like drink blood or eat toenails or whatever. It's just the concept or thought or fantasy of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just gives you a chub.
I saw an article. I'll have to go and see if I can find it again because I didn't read it. But it was something along the lines of like how people's interest in cannibalism has peaked.
Really?
Yeah.
It's very
as of late.
Is that because of Yellow Jackets, you think?
I
don't know that
see.
many people have watched it.
Well, the actor, again, Army Hammer, he kind of like put that in the forefront in the past 2 years, you think?
And these things do follow trends where it just kind of becomes a social contagion, I guess.
Maybe.
So this is from the podcast What the Fetish. This is
Soylent Green trends after New York Times asked why cannibalism is so fashionable.
Yeah, it's fashionable.
It was an article on TMZ 3 days ago.
That's a good way to put it. Fashionable.
Fashionable, yeah.
So this is Travis. He's not part of the trend. He's a longtime Vore person.
Okay.
He's going to tell us what he's into and how his friends react.
I have a broad spectrum of interests ranging from soft Vore to hard Vore, male and female and everything in between. Once I figured out that what I was into, it just felt right to tell someone. And so I told a friend of mine, and he didn't want to be friends after that.
Shocker. So he mentioned hard Vore and soft Vore.
Right.
Soft Vore is like let's say the Jolly Green Giant picks you up and just bloop.
Just ate you.
But hard Vore is like a wolf,
like tearing apart.
Like a shark ripping you to shreds.
And this, as you might imagine, crosses over into furries because they're kind of big animals. And so in this, again, this is Travis telling us if he has an interest in maybe hooking up with some furries.
Is there any furry intersection with you?
Yes, there is. This is a little embarrassing. I just found out that I like this particular character, BoJack Horseman. I guess I kind of like the humiliation part of it, of being eaten by something that generally wouldn't eat you.
Okay.
So the cartoon horse.
Horseman.
All right, nice.
A depressed horse?
Terrific.
He thinks it'd be hot if BoJack would eat, because number one, he's getting eaten, but number two, it's an animal that doesn't eat meat typically.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of cool.
It is cool.
BoJack
and
Horseman.
hot.
It's actually
hasn't
humiliating.
thought about
The
that?
hottest.
I would love to be eaten by an animated character voiced by Will Arnett.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty specific.
Now,
And that's what's embarrassing.
yes.
Yeah.
And my friend didn't want to talk to me again.
What?
I know.
So now Greg's question, how do
Did he
you find
figure out?
that
Yeah.
being eaten is your sexual
Yeah.
fantasy? Travis tells us.
One of my earliest memories is sitting in my bed, looking out the window during a rainy day, and seeing the robins pluck worms from the ground. And as a little kid, I couldn't help but think, how cool would it be to be a worm? You get to play in the dirt all day, you're slimy, and at the end of your life, you just get eaten.
Yeah. How
So
cool
cool.
would
That
that
would
be?
be real cool.
I mean, just think about the life of a worm, you guys.
yeah.
How can you not be jealous?
And it made me
It's so
horny.
cool.
The coolest.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Next thing I know, like my worm was
And
tingling.
all of a sudden, I had a rock.
Yeah.
Now you might be thinking, what's like a Vore, besides BoJack Horseman, what's like a fantasy story, like an online fiction story you'd read about getting devoured that would get you horny? Warning, this is going to be complicated, but Travis is going to tell us how that would play out.
All right.
It's about this guy. He comes home to find that his ex-girlfriend is waiting for him in a rather skimpy outfit. They get intimate, and she ends up age regressing him and unbirthing him. A little bit later, the guy's friend comes over, and they get intimate, and the prey's essence is transferred to his best friend's testicles.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
I'm following that.
Oh, yeah, that's
So,
okay.
let
me break that down.
The helpful PDF of the flowchart for this whole thought.
So he's hooking up with his ex.
Very, very helpful.
She put some kind of spell on him to turn him back into a fetus and
Naturally.
puts that back where it came from.
Reabsorbed it.
Yeah.
Now, then his best friend comes over, they hook up, and
Sure.
then somehow
She transferred the
she's
essence.
transferred out of her uterus into that man's genitalia.
Sure.
All right.
And there's
Right.
and you have to listen to the podcast again. What the Fetish is a podcast. There's a twist ending.
Yeah, I won't be.
Not going to
listening
spoil it.
that.
Oh, please don't.
Now you're probably thinking, okay, this guy sounds super normal.
Yeah,
Right,
yes,
of course.
I am thinking
Probably a
that.
CEO, doctor, or something like that. What does Travis do for work?
If you don't mind me asking, what do you do professionally?
That, I don't. I have more than a few mental conditions that
really?
make it very hard for someone like me.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. The state doesn't think I need to be around people, so. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh,
so
damn.
the only ones.
okay.
So,
Oh, man.
if you are interested in human psychology, the whole 45 minutes of this podcast is legitimately
Jeez.
fascinating.
Wow.
And it reads, not joking, like a Batman villain or like the Riddler or
Kinda
the
does,
Like,
Oh my
because
God.
there's some stuff I didn't put in here that's disturbing.
Like
There you go,
extremely like
Really?
incel.
Christina should make a note. She can bring that to class.
Yes.
I listened to this and he's like a few bad decisions away from some bad times.
Does he live alone?
Yeah.
I believe so. Well, he talks about that where he has had roommates in the past that didn't work out.
Wow.
Again, but you sexual freaks keep on freaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We out here.
There you
freaking.
go. That's What the Fetish and just
Wow.
search
Vore.
Vore.
Oh, wow.
V-O-R-E.
He can be
Okay.
reformed, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think this is a prime candidate for the island.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That is nominee number 1 here in the Freak of the Month for July competition. We do have another nominee. This is, like I said, one that Cameron found on one of the dozen or so websites that he goes through. And where'd you